Isabel, why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sweet. My name is Isabel Casillas. I live in Shadow Mountain. I work.
Where do you work?
I work at Kaiser Permanente.
I'm going to act like I know what that means.
It's a hospital, by the way. And I love Jesus, and I love sharing his word, and I love learning about him. And I love serving in my local church.
I love that. I love that especially because we are your local church.
Yep.
And so you've gone out and shared the gospel multiple times this summer. So you've got some experience with that. What has your experience been like sharing the gospel before this Church Has Left the Building event?
Well, I went, my first ever experience evangelizing was it was actually on Christmas Day back in 2021. We passed out goodie bags to homeless people in El Cajon. And I'm not gonna lie, it was really scary because it's El Cajon, and you just see things and it's, I was I don't even know, 14 or something. But that was my first experience, and that's one kind of evangelism. But yeah, this summer, a couple of my friends from around San Diego just got together and decided to hit up Balboa Park and just talk to people about what they believe in and how they've grown up learning about religion and stuff like that. And it's just having conversations. So
yeah.
It's pretty simple, just making time to go and talk to people about God.
Yeah, it takes intentionality though.
It does.
You're not going to accidentally go to evangelize. You have to plan it mentally and spiritually prepare for it and then go do it, right?
Exactly.
And so you've done it, multiple times, even this summer already.
Yeah.
What were some things, or what was one thing that was maybe a difficulty that you encountered at this event that you weren't expecting to encounter?
Man, I think off the bat, I knew people weren't going to be open all the time, but I think I was still expecting to talk to people, so I would go up to people and be like, hey, do you want to do a survey? And they were like, oh, what's about? And I'm like, oh, it's about church. And they're like, oh, no, I'm good. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I just wasn't expecting to be completely shut down, but now I am, so I'm chill about that. I don't know. I kind of have an open mind, but I don't know. I guess I knew people would not be open to it, but.
How did you respond? So, you talked to a couple people, you go, hey, we're doing this survey for our church, would you mind? And you go, not interested. How do you work up the courage to continue going to do that and asking people, even whenever you've been rejected so many times?
Honestly, I think it's all about your perspective, and the biggest thing is what drives you to do it. Because you're never going into evangelism for yourself to make yourself feel good about yourself or make yourself look like a better person.
Yeah.
It's all about glorifying the Lord and caring for other people in the first place. So I think when it comes to driving yourself to keep doing that, remember that, 1 John says, we love because he first loved us. That is our motivation. We want to give people that love. And just realizing that the Lord will be glorified and he will be faithful if you are faithful to step out in your faith and do something like that.
Yeah, it's not about you. And really, he is faithful and he's working even when we don't see it. Exactly. Even when we don't recognize that he's working, even when it's man, somebody else said no, I got rejected again, and what we don't see is that God's actually working in their heart and softening it even before we get there and even after we leave.
For sure.
What is one thing that as you were preparing to go out for this event, what is one thing that really helped you in your preparation of sharing the gospel?
Well, just this is personal, I'm not encouraging it. I watched a lot of videos of people evangelizing, and so it kind of prepared me for the different kinds of people you encounter, different methods that you use. And so I think just having those tools in your belt of having different encounters and different methods kind of helps you figure out what works for you and kind of puts you in a more prepared spot, I would say, to going out and talking to people.
And we had talked about it helps you find your voice.
It does.
If you just have one way of doing evangelism all the time, then you might not actually be able to reach someone who has a different personality, who's going to be more open to a different method or starting point for sharing the gospel. And so knowing different ways, different starting points, different ways to interact with different people is really helpful. Because the surveys are helpful for some, but others they don't impact as much.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's Three Circles that does a better job, or the Romans Road, or the Good Person Test. And there are all of these different ways to share the gospel. So just knowing, even just generally, how some of those things may work is just really helpful in the moment.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
What was one highlight? So, you know, you had a lot of rejection. You had a lot of maybe not great conversations. And that's okay, because God's still using them.
Absolutely.
But what is like, man, you get back and go, this was the high point. This was encouraging to me during this time.
Honestly, it was probably when we came across this lady named Ruby, and she was sitting on a bench just in front of the water, and she was just sitting by herself. And so we went up to her and we were talking to her, and we learned that she had just lost her mom back in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just looked like she was hurting.
Yeah.
And I was like, my heart for this lady was just so like, oh my gosh. So I just helped encourage her and tell her, like, because I asked her, like, you know, do you go to church? Like, what's that look like for you? And she said she was a Catholic, and she said she hasn't been to church in a while. And that was specifically because her mom had passed away, so she kind of strayed from God. And so that's when I told her, you know, if you're sick, you don't run away from the doctor. If anything, you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And it's in the same way, like, when hard things come in our lives, we don't run away from God, we run to God.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of encouraged her, and I told her, you know, just because this hard loss happened, I said that doesn't mean that you have to that it's over, you know, that you have to run away from the Lord, or that you don't have nothing to offer this world. I said, if anything, there's so much that he has planned for you ahead in the future. So
and it shows you your need for him.
Oh, for sure. It was just really cool to like encourage her and be there, because people are hurting and you don't realize that until you make time to go and pull yourself
talk to them.
Exactly, just have a conversation. It's really not hard.
And a lot of people want to talk through those things, you know, but no one's ever going to approach them unless we're the ones doing it.
Exactly.
You know, unless someone goes out of their way to have these conversations, these people who have these really hard, deep questions. Cara was in here a few days ago, and she was talking about how this older man just very clearly opened up and was like, I'm scared to die. Why? And she's 18 years old. You know, this older man is willing to ask this 18-year-old girl a really deep question without her even looking for it. People want to have these conversations, but we are so scared a lot of times to initiate them. But whenever we do, we really do see that the Lord's working, and he's working through us. And he gives us the words to say, and he gives us the discernment of what to share and how to do it. And it's just a really cool time, because it's not on us. It's not our ability. And it's so clear in those moments.
I mean, even asking yourself when you're scared, fear is not from the Lord, right? We know this. He gives us not a spirit of fear, but power of love and a sound mind. And so just recognizing that he's using you, and that anytime you feel fear, I mean, everybody feels kind of nervous. You know, even though I've done it a couple times, I understand, like, it's like the nerves. You're like, what's going to happen? How are people going to, like, react?
It's like unknown.
And that's the beauty in it, because he's carrying you through it. It's not you, you know, it's him. And so relying on him is the beautiful part, because he opens up the conversations and the people. I mean, it's perfect timing. Your location, your time, and everything leads you to that specific person.
None of it's accidental.
Nothing's a coincidence.
Nothing's a coincidence.
It's all the Lord, and that's what makes it so beautiful, because then you look back and you see the conversations you had, and it's just beautiful to see how he carried you through. You know? It's really encouraging. So I love it, and I would encourage people to do it. And don't be scared, because there's nothing that somebody can do that'll ever take you away from the Lord or from his love. And so you always get something out of an experience and going out and evangelizing. You always come back with a story, and that's the cool part.
That's awesome. If there was, I mean, really, that was pretty encouraging already. If there was one thing you could say to, you know, someone who's watching the video, who knows they're supposed to evangelize, know they should go evangelize, but either they have fear of the unknown or of rejection, or they just don't value it very much, what is one encouragement that you would give to them to step out in obedience, in faith, and actually do it?
I would say, first of all, if you're afraid of rejection or from fear, I would say that is not from God. So know that that is the enemy trying to keep you from doing the command that he's called you to. And if you don't feel the push to go evangelize and to share your faith, I would ask if you really understand the gospel and the weight that it carries. I mean, if you claim to be changed by the Lord and the Holy Spirit, I mean, it has to do something to propel you to want to do that. I heard an analogy one time, and he said, the pastor was like, if I showed up late to my service and I told you, oh, I'm sorry I'm late, I got hit by a semi-truck, he's either crazy or delusional, because there's nothing changed about it.
Yeah.
And in the same way, like, if you claim to be changed by the Lord, there has to be something in you that changes. And I believe the number one thing is your love, not only for God, but for other people.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great answer, honestly. Man, well, Isabel, thanks for taking a couple minutes to come and share that. Hopefully this was encouraging to any of the students who are watching. You should go evangelize, not because of how great you are, but because of how great God is. So, thank you.
Yep.